Hi everyone, it's Danny. Okay, today we're going to discuss about how to care for Phalaenopsis orchid species, the ones that bloom in the summertime. We call them the summer bloomers. Now, these orchids are quite different from the Phalaenopsis you can usually find in the stores, at grocery shops or garden centers. The main difference is that these orchids, like the name suggests, are species, which means that they are not hybridized by humans to obtain different colors and different shapes of the flower. They can also be primary hybrids, which means a crossing between two species. The Phalaenopsis you usually find in stores are very complex hybrids. This means that in time, along the years, people have hybridized species and then hybridized their hybrids and so on for a lot of years. So the orchids that you can find in the stores are quite different from the species. Appearance-wise, the species are also a bit different. If you can see, the color of the leaves is quite different. It is lighter, and also the leaves have a really nice shine or gloss to them. The summer bloomers especially have this nice shine on their leaves. Flower-wise, they are very different from your usual hybrids. For the most part, they will not produce as many flowers, nor will they produce a long flower spike full of flowers. However, these species, particularly the summer bloomers, are wonderfully fragrant, and right now, as I'm holding this orchid, I can feel its aroma and it's really intoxicating. This is the Phalaenopsis bellina. So as you can see, there is quite a difference between these particular orchids and the ones you find in the store. Care-wise, there are some differences as well, so let's start by talking about light quantity. Your usual Phalaenopsis orchids will do quite well in a low light environment. The summer blooming species, however, can take brighter light. It doesn't mean that you need to keep them in direct sunshine, but bright shade will actually benefit them. This is because they bloom in summer. They are not prompted by fall and low temperatures to bloom. They are actually prompted by longer days, warmer temperatures, and of course, brighter light. So in order to rebloom a Phalaenopsis species that blooms in summer, bright light is a good factor that you can play with. Now let's get to temperatures. As you might know, Phalaenopsis orchids really do like intermediate temperatures. Also, in the fall, they are prompted into producing flower spikes by the drop in temperature. These orchids, however, are not prompted by low temperatures. Their cue to start blooming is actually higher temperatures. So for these orchids, warmer temperatures are more adequate than lower temperatures. Personally, for me, in wintertime, I do not have flowers, and the flower spikes that grow do not produce buds. Or if they produce any buds, they fall. But once spring comes and the day becomes warmer, the buds start to develop and transform into beautiful flowers. So what about watering? Well, for these guys, I've discovered that you can actually water a bit more frequent than usual Phalaenopsis orchids. If you take a look at the roots of a species, you will notice that they can get dehydrated much faster and much worse than a normal Phalaenopsis orchid. For this reason, I actually water these types of orchids when the media almost approaches dryness. I don't let it stay soggy or moist all the time, but certainly I do not let it so dry as I would let a regular Phalaenopsis orchid. So in my opinion, these orchids actually do better if they are watered slightly more frequent than a usual Phalaenopsis orchid. This doesn't mean that they like to be suffocated in the pot, so ventilation is still important, and a coarse and airy media is crucial as well. So the main differences in care regard temperature, light quantity, and water quantity. Now the fun part with these species is that they are sequential bloomers. This means that flower spikes should not be cut if they are green. They have the possibility to rebloom from the tip over and over again for a few years, while the orchid will produce brand new flower spikes. So in time, you can actually have a multitude of flower spikes with a multitude of flowers. So even though these orchids do not produce those big, showy flowers, they can have a multitude of flowers simply because they will produce a lot of flower spikes. So keep in mind to not cut these flower spikes if they're still green. If, however, they dry up and become brown, you are safe to cut them. The growth pattern is pretty similar to any type of Phalaenopsis. They will grow leaves from the top. They can grow 2 to 3 leaves per year, while the bottom leaves will periodically be shed off. The most popular Phalaenopsis summer blooming orchids are the Tetraspis orchid, which always blooms different. Each flower can always be different. The Phalaenopsis bellina that I have in bloom here, which has an incredibly wonderful fragrance, and it is an easy orchid to care for, and the Phalaenopsis violacea, which I have in spike at this moment. This again is a very fragrant orchid, and it's one of the most popular summer blooming orchids. In the description of this video, you will find some other Phalaenopsis species that also bloom in the summer and also have a wonderful fragrance, so do check the description if you'd like to know more species that bloom in the summertime. Now, if you'd like to know more on how to care for Phalaenopsis orchids, the complex hybrids, the ones that you usually find in stores, I'll add an annotation right here that you can click and see that video. It's quite an extensive step-by-step tutorial. So if you'd like to watch that video, just click on the screen now, or you can visit the description of this video and you'll find the link there. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you liked it, then please like and share. If you'd like to see more orchid videos from me, click subscribe and you'll stay up to date. I post daily. You can also leave me questions or suggestions in the comment section below and I'll get back to you. Also, you can visit orchidnature.com where you will find identification sheets for orchids, care sheets, and talk to our community in the forum section. And if you're wondering what to watch next, click on the right of your screen and you will learn how to obtain a beautiful Phalaenopsis flower cascade with an orchid that you can buy from the store. Thank you for joining. I'll see you next time. Bye!